Hi, this is Rainbow Harmony here to help you find balance and peace to live a more colorful life. And this is a personal reading for someone who just hit me up for my 22/22 special, because right now I'm doing personal readings for only $22.22. And this type of reading is normally going to cost anywhere from about $45 to even $80 with some psychics. And my price is lower because I'm trying to reach as many people as I can and make it affordable for you guys. And also I'm raising money to help forward and support one of my missions, which is ethical fashion. I'm trying to get ethical fashion out into the spotlight and try to just shed light on that. And you guys can scroll back and see some of the videos I've posted where I've talked about that, and I've showed you behind the scenes and some of the editorials I've made using the money from this channel. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who's supported, and this is my new 22/22 spread, and I'm really excited to unveil it. So what's new with this spread? We've got some new questions that are more in depth, and also what I'm doing is I'm custom making every person who comes to me for these readings their own spread. Before, I was just using 3 different spreads, and you guys might have noticed, but what I'm doing is I'm using a variation of those now, but custom making you questions based off of when I feel into your energy, and also the questions and the stories you guys tell me when you come to me. So I'm pretty excited. I'm hoping that this will help you guys more, and it'll be even more personal instead of just using the same spread for everybody. This person wanted like a twin flame love reading, but they also wanted a little bit of advice on where to go next in their life, because they feel like they're kind of at a crossroads and there's been a breakup, and they're just kind of wanting some upliftment, and that's what I do best. So let's get into this. If you found your way to this reading and it's not your personal reading, then stay tuned. Maybe there's some information that wants to come through for you as well. And apologies on the echo. I'm actually doing this reading in my art studio because my bird, as you guys all know, is really acting up today, and I didn't want her screaming to interrupt this video. So there will be a bit of an echo, and thank you for understanding, as I will be purchasing new equipment soon to help with that. And hi, this is me in my art studio. I've got, all my art supplies and stuff around, so what's up? Let's get into this. First, we're going to take a look at you and your twin, and we're going to look into the energy between you guys, and we're going to look into their energy and your energy. I also added in a question: who is this person? Because I have a feeling like you haven't met them yet. Maybe you have, but it might be something you're not sure of, and like you're not really sure who this person is. So I'm going to tap into that and see if we can find out just some of their characteristics so you know what to look out for. And then I've got advice for you at this time in your life, just because there's so much going on. I have a lot of advice cards in this deck and in this reading. And we're going to take a look at your career and your natural gifts and talents and what the next step is going to be for you. I'm also looking into what positive energy is going to be coming into your life next, because I feel like that would help, after everything that's happened and all the shift, to kind of have something to look forward to. And I also have a card in here that's look out for, just to kind of warn you of another shift coming into your life. Not necessarily something negative, it just might be something you might not have been expecting. And then I've got advice from Spirit as always. So we're gonna get started. The joined energy between you guys. Wow, this is so interesting. This is basically the same card I drew from both decks. This card and this card literally mean the same thing, and I find this fascinating to get this in this placement. It's saying that you and your twin right now are both really awakening to your, first of all, your connection with the universe and like oneness, and also your authenticity and your natural power. Everyone here on this earth has the power and the ability to shape and create their reality through their thoughts and through their feelings and through their intentions and their actions. And I feel like you guys are both at this place in your life where you're really visualizing what type of life you want to have, like, your desired outcome. This is a time where you're spending a lot of time of introspection. And I'm just gonna say it, Mercury retrograde. It's pretty much over now, but we're still in the post-shadow phase. And I think that, of course, if you've been following my channel, I've been discussing this a lot. It's going to bring up basically our whole life for review. Every time there's a retrograde, it's a time to be introspective and to kind of confront some challenges. It's an opportunity for us to break out of certain karmic cycles and to try to move forward. And I think that's exactly what's happened here for both of you guys. There have been karmic cycles that have been broken, and now it's time for you guys to move forward. But it's a really happy, magical time. You know, you guys are starting to draw more abundance into your life. And once again, I mean, just look at this vision. This card's called the Seer. It's about basically discovering that you have the gift of vision and insight. And I think you're very clairvoyant. I think you're the type of person who has a very vivid imagination. And, you know, there's many different types of psychic, spiritual gifts. Some of them have to do with, like, you know, inner knowing, like claircognizance, where you just know things. My partner has that. One of them is clairsentience, where you have the ability to feel other people's emotions, so you're like an empath. But I think you might have a bit of those as well, but one of the strongest gifts that's coming out to me right now for you and your twin is this clairvoyance, this ability to have these really intense visions. And with that, you can focus that energy to help create a better outcome for yourself. So that's what's happening right now. There's a lot of positive energy surrounding both of you. I mean, there's this unicorn here. I mean, it's pretty obvious what the unicorn stands for, you know, magic and miracles and mysticism and abundance and possibilities, and hope. And so I think this has a lot to do with you. Like, I think that when it comes to twins, your energy is going to mirror each other. So if you are at this place in your life where you're reviewing things and you're kind of pulling up your inner strength and you're going to move forward in that way, it's going to help send that energy to your twin as well. So I feel like you're carrying the dominant energy in this relationship right now. Almost the masculine energy, I'd say. But I think that basically, in short, I really feel like you're going with the flow here. You and your twin are in a pretty good place. It might not feel like it just because there's a lot going on here, and I see this winter here in the background, but there's some goodness coming into your life. There's some abundance here. And I feel like life is reflecting to you who you are, because that's what life does. You know, the world, the universe is going to mirror to you who you are on the inside. And I feel like you have been a really, it's not about being a good person or a bad person per se. I just feel like you've really given a lot to people in your energy. You are a bit of an empath, and you've given a lot. You've devoted a lot of your time to service. And I think some of these trials that have come into your life have been, you know, lessons, and have been some things you might have entered into as part of your soul contract. And these things have come into your life to help shape you and to be that catalyst for you to be able to, you know, pull up your inner strength and move forward. You know, you never know how strong you are until you're tested. And that's what's happened here. So you're stronger now. You've come out on the other side stronger. And believe it or not, I think your twin has too. It's very possible your twin could have just gotten out of a breakup as well, because I see energy like this after someone has just had a big move, had a big breakup. I've seen people who've actually, unfortunately, lost someone close to them, you know, and have actually had this energy because, you know, anytime something is lost, it's going to be replaced with something else, because energy can't be created or destroyed. It can only be, you know, recycled and moved around. So I feel like that's what's happening here. Like, this energy is being recycled, and it's being transferred into something that's going to push you into a better direction. More towards your life purpose and your soul mission. And I think it's causing a spiritual awakening. A lot of the people who come to me for readings are usually in the beginning of, or the middle of, or just about to have a type of spiritual awakening. And so I see that here, this awakening with your third eye opening, and with their third eye opening as well, and you starting to become more conscious. This is a very personal thing for everyone, but awakening tends to happen after a huge shift in your life. For me, it was moving. I moved away, and this started my awakening because it was just this huge change for me, and it caused me to review just so many things that have happened in my life, and I made a lot of changes really fast, and it awakened me and opened me up and helped me become more conscious, and it set me on this path I'm on now. So that's what's happening here. It's a shift, it's an awakening, it's kind of a rebirth in your life. You're going into a new direction, and you know, your visions that you're having in your head of this life that you want, pay attention to them. You know, you're not just daydreaming. Like, a lot of times that you have to pay attention to the repeated visions and the things that you think over and over and over again. That's something that's in alignment for you. For example, from my own life, I've always loved to sing, and I've always, you know, had visions of myself on stage and playing music with others, and I always just kind of pushed that away because I thought, like, I had struggled with feelings of worthiness and like my self-esteem, and I think everyone does. I'm just gonna be vulnerable here and let you know, I just thought, like, I could never do that, why me? But after I had my awakening and kind of learned about, you know, these visions you have and these gifts you're born with are kind of part of your soul mission and life purpose, and you have it for a reason. It gave me the confidence to start working on my music more and start writing songs and reaching out and connecting with people. And long story short, now I'm working on an album, and I'm working on actually putting something together, and I've performed a couple times, and it's been really fun. And I don't know if I ever would have gotten the confidence or the courage to work towards that if it wasn't for those repeated visions I just kept having over and over again. So, you know, I really did think I was just daydreaming and I was just being silly, but, you know, don't torture yourself. I mean, I think if you're getting these visions over and over, there's a reason, and you should take action on it. I feel so much more happy. Like, I'm in alignment. That's what being in alignment is. It's you know, trusting in these visions that you receive and taking action on that moving forward. And, you know, ultimately this joint energy here between you and your twin is all about that. So that's really cool that you guys share that in common, especially at this time. So let's look at your twin's energy. Interesting. You know what? It makes me feel like your twin has had a breakup recently as well, because I'm seeing this divine passion card. And this means, you know, be honest with yourself. What is your heart's true desire? And then I see this surrender your will card, and this death, and this is a siren. And so it's making me think that your twin had a breakup with someone that wasn't very good for them. And ironically, you know, it's just funny, you know, twins are going to mirror. And so it's fascinating to me that that's what's happening here. I think that, you know, there's something that's been awakened in your twin, and they want something else. You know, they're realizing this person they were with was not really serving their highest good anymore, and didn't make them feel alive. Because ultimately, this is what you want in a relationship. You want that passion, you want that romance, you want that fire. And, you know, it's not always going to be like that, and you're going to have to work towards it. But if the person that you're with doesn't like that fire at all, then how are you going to get that inspiration to continue forward? You know, the person you're with should really help ignite that passion and that inspiration in you. It should just be this natural thing, this chemistry, you know? And I think that that's what your twin is going out in search of now. They're just surrendering their will. They're letting this go into the past. And they're just trying to hold the light right now and stay above these heavy emotions, because this has been a very heavy time for them. And I always feel so bad during readings in the middle of Mercury retrograde, because, you know, I'm tapping into some really tense stuff with everybody. It's, I have to say, this was a really intense cycle. I worked so hard to stay above this whole thing and to just accept the contrast that I received at this time and to just flow through it, like try to welcome it, you know? Because I'm all about, like, just taking the path of least resistance and, like, trusting what's appearing in your life and taking responsibility, realizing that you're creating this. And but, you know, I was really challenged. That's what I'm trying to say, is I was very, very challenged during these past couple of weeks. And so I think everybody was, but it's a good thing. I think this person feels a lot more free now. And, you know, I'm really feeling in their energy that they're heading towards peace. because I just saw this card actually. I closed my eyes for a second and I saw that flash in my third eye. So I feel like they're heading towards peace, and they're feeling a lot more open. Their energy is more receptive right now. So it makes me wonder if you're feeling that, they're getting closer, you know? This is your energy. Wow. You know, I do have to say, when I first pulled these cards, I felt a lot of peace. I feel like you, like this, what you've been through has really humbled you. And I feel like you're in this place of surrender, which is really good. You know, if you resist these changes in this time, it can be so hard on you. You know, I've had a lot of clients who've been in a similar situation to you, but it's fascinating for me to see this unconditional love card coming out in the middle of everything you're facing. It really speaks a lot of your character. So I do see it's like your cup is empty though. It's like, you know, you're very desperate for someone to fill that void in your heart. And so hopefully hearing a little bit about your twin will kind of help and keep you hopeful. But right now, the most important thing is for you to just fly above these heavy emotions right now, because, you know, this is very heavy, this water, this emotion. But the Kingfisher is so beautiful for me to draw for you, because the Kingfisher represents strength, and it represents integrity, and it represents the ability to just fly above these heavy emotions. This card's pretty straightforward, you know, you see this bird flying above the water, and water represents emotion, so it's like you're trying to stay above it, and I feel like this is a card that's representing kind of your vibe right now, but it's also a little bit of advice reminding you to love yourself, others, in every situation, no matter what the outward appearances may be. This just came to mind to bring this up to you, so I'm just gonna say it. Where I live, the person who is, I don't know how to say it without, whatever, basically our president, I tried to do a reading for the president once. And so, and it was during a really tense time where I wasn't really agreeing with what this person was doing. And I don't want to talk too much about politics because I know everyone has their own views and I respect that. But this is the first card I drew for them. And I was just like, wow. It just really got me to sit down and think for a second, like to have unconditional love, like no matter what the outward appearances may be. This reminds you that everyone has been through their own trials and challenges, and you never know what someone's been through that's made them the way that they are. Now, that doesn't excuse people who are abusive. That does not excuse people who are abusive at all. You know, people who are abusive, you know, get away from them and cut yourself off from them. And I've done that in my own life, and it's been very hard for me, you know. Why do you think I became a psychic? Oh my gosh, like going through that process of having to, you know, realize that some people are like that really was what awakened me and opened me up to all this and made me want to become more conscious myself, so I can heal from that and not go out like, you know, basically acting abusive to other people. So I feel like that's what's happening here with you. You know, I feel like you're starting to realize that there are some people out there that are really gonna F you over and that are very, very hurt and very broken. And but in a way, what's happened is opened your heart more. It's made you more understanding. It's given you more love for yourself because you've been able to like raise your standards and be like, you know what, I'm not gonna allow myself to be treated like this anymore. But it's also made you more compassionate to realize that the people that have hurt you have only done it because they've been hurt. So it's very interesting, you know. But this is a really good card to get because it's really beautiful. It's saying that you're the kind of person that doesn't judge other people. And because of that, though, it has allowed you to get hurt, you know, and now you're learning how to pull up your inner strength and protect yourself. And this purple is around the woman in this picture is standing out to me. This purple represents spirit and connection to spirit and like your crown chakra. So I feel like spirit is just around you right now, and you'll be feeling this unconditional love come through. And I don't know what your personal beliefs are, but what I've done at times where I felt very, very, very alone was I've gone outside and I've just looked for another life form, you know, a bird or a worm or a bee or a butterfly or something, and just go look for a little animal or a creature or something and just connect with it. Take some deep breaths and just watch it, and you'll feel the love coming off of it. Like you'll realize, like you'll find your oneness again and that love for yourself and for everything around you, because you can get so like closed off to the world after things like this happen. You know, whenever this tragedy happens, you have a choice. You can either close up or you can open more, you know? And what's supposed to happen here is your heart's opening. That's what this whole thing is about, is your heart is opening even more through this pain, and it's gonna help you, you know, learn how to love people unconditionally and yourself unconditionally. But ultimately, this is good because you have come to this place of unconditional love to yourself so much that you're not allowing other people to take advantage of you in that way anymore. And you know, something else is also coming to my mind for you to research. I talked about this, I think, 2 weeks ago on the channel. It was coming up so much in all the cards. It's boundaries. I learned about boundaries recently, kind of. And now I'm telling everybody, all the empaths I know on this channel, because it's so important to learn how to protect yourself and how to protect your energy, because when you have such a light in your heart and you have these clairvoyant gifts and you have all this peaceful energy surrounding you just naturally, and you have this strong connection with spirit and this light in your heart, it's going to be like a moth to a flame when it comes with abusive people and people with personality disorders. So these types of people are going to be drawn to you. So you're going to have to learn how to recognize people like that so that you don't end up with someone like that again. And then how to have boundaries so that, you know, you get to be the one who chooses who's in your life and who you surround yourself with. And you don't have to deal with that drama anymore. I have a feeling that you've really learned from this, and I don't think you're going to repeat the past. I don't think you need to be afraid, but there is a little bit more work you need to do. I'm feeling that in your energy. But I feel like you're getting help. There could be some therapist involved, or you're looking into a lot of healing right now. So just keep following that path. It will unfold naturally. Your path to healing is going to unfold naturally. You'll come across the right YouTubes, the right meditations. You'll be connected with the right people. It's going to unfold, and you will make it through this. So ultimately, I have to say, your energy right now is very, very balanced despite what you're going through. So definitely give yourself kudos for that, and try to hold this vibe and try to stay at peace. And, you know, if you get sucked down into this emotion and this despair and this heaviness, that's okay. Just let it come through. I mean, you're going to be going through this grieving process, and you might want to research the grieving process as well. You know, the whole anger, denial, bargaining, acceptance, all that whole thing. I forget what all the stages are, but you're going to be going through that, and that's okay. It's a very natural healing process. You might want to spend a little bit of time in solitude on your own, just kind of resting. It could be a little difficult on your body for a little while. So just drink a lot of water and try to eat healthy, and just be there for yourself through this. You know, be present with yourself and allow this to flow. This is, sadly enough, you know, can be very uncomfortable part of life and an uncomfortable part of our journey, but think of it like a snake shedding its skin. You know, the snakes, when they shed their skin, are going to be very raw at first, and they're not going to want to slither around everywhere. They're going to want to kind of stay in place and give themselves time to kind of adjust. And after a while, you won't feel so raw anymore, and you'll be able to take on the world again. So just remember, this is natural. You're not being punished by the universe. It's very, very opposite of that. Nothing's being taken away from you. In fact, everything is being given to you. So, you know, anything that's lost is going to be replaced with something even better for you. So who is this person? Your twin. Wow, look again. This person is going to be very, very spiritual and very like open and like psychic, because I'm seeing this throat chakra. It makes me think that they're a writer or they're a speaker of some type. This is talking about, their third eye's open, they're very awake, they're very intelligent. It doesn't necessarily mean that this is like a Reiki healer, tarot reader type person. It could just be that this is someone who has a lot of integrity and who is a leader in their chosen field. And it's also someone who's faced their fears. So I feel like you want someone strong in your life. This is, you've manifested this person. It's you want someone strong, kind of like an archetype man, you know what I mean? Like, you want a strong man. You want someone who's going to take care of you and who's actually going to stand up for you when it comes down to it. And someone who's not going to be afraid to confront people, because I feel like that was something, issue you had in your last relationship, is the person you were with couldn't stand up for you and they couldn't handle confrontation. There was a lot of passive aggression in the relationship, and I feel like they also did a little bit of gaslighting. Whenever you would try to bring things up to them, they would flip it back on you. And I think this is someone with integrity. I'm getting chills on that. I feel like that was probably one of the main issues I just picked up on. But I don't want to tap too much into that person. I feel like it's good you got away from them, because they seem just really overwhelming. This person here, though, is a very strong person, but they're not strong in like the fake way where they're like got something to prove to people, like chip on the shoulder. It's like they've done a lot of work on themselves. And I feel like you've done a lot of work on yourself too. And that's what this is. To see this after what you've been through, and your energy is like, wow, this is a person who is very open and conscious. And of course your twin's gonna mirror that. So this is abundance too. I feel like your twin's gonna be really well off. Fertility, there could be some children that come out of this relationship. So overall, I hope that helps to kind of look forward to, you're going to feel very safe with this person, and that's the most important thing, So, your twin is a catch. Now, what is the block to union on your end right now? What is blocking you from basically hooking up with this person, getting with this twin of yours? Well, obviously you just need some time after what you've been through. Do you see this? Take some time, quiet time alone to rest, meditate, and contemplate. And I picked up on this perfectly. I had a feeling like you were going to be spending some time in solitude as you go through this grieving process. You're going to have to really balance your energy again, because what's happening, I see this red, that is the root chakra. And so anytime you have a big breakup, it's going to really kind of stimulate the root chakra and bring stuff up. Like it's gonna, your sense of safety and your sense of security, that's connected with your root chakra, and like money and abundance and stuff. I learned a lot about the root chakra because when I first started connecting with one of my favorite psychics, who helped me actually learn all of this, she told me that I wanted to know how to manifest more money, and she was telling me that the root chakra is connected with that, and basically that has to do with your childhood, traumas, security, safety, relationships, breakups, like all those heavy topics. And so that's where I started my shadow work and started working really, really hard on myself, and doing these healings and just trying to kind of let go of the past and move forward. And that's what this green represents, like the healing. And I have to say, the more you kind of face that, the more that you can move forward. Because a lot of times your primary relationships, like your romantic relationships, are going to mirror some of the conflict you've had earlier in your life. For instance, if you have like daddy issues, you might have issues with men in relationships, and you might tend to pick people who are similar to your dad. And like, if you have mommy issues, same thing. You could have, trauma with your friends and other women, or even certain types of men that have more of a feminine energy. And like, it's just, it can be a mess if you don't really take that time to go back there and hash that out. So I feel like what's being called for you is energy healing, meditation, doing some therapy, like actually maybe getting a licensed professional therapist, counselor, maybe even going to your doctor, Western medicine, and maybe trying some alternative practices to help heal you and balance you after this, because I really do believe in like a holistic perspective where your body and your mind and your spirit are all connected. And so if you've had this huge emotional trauma in your life, there's going to be some other areas that need help. So look into acupuncture, look into Reiki, energy healing, see if there's some medication you can get on from your doctor that will help you through this time. Not as a crutch, but maybe to help you balance. But once again, I'm just letting you know, I'm not a doctor, so I'm, talk to your doctor about anything you want to do that has to do with your body and healing. But I'm just saying that some of that is coming up for you. And so trust yourself and trust your medical professionals to help point you in the right direction for this healing, because this block that you had to unifying with your twin has to do with that. And it's obvious. I mean, it can be very stressful and difficult to go right from one relationship to the next. So it might be better for you to just take a little time here to heal from this. And then also, this healing is going to open you up and make you more receptive. And you're going to have to get into the receptive mode in order to manifest this into your life. And being in the receptive mode basically means that you don't resist where you're at. Like, in order to kind of go to the next level in your life, you have to be open to where you're at and accept where you're at currently and not fight that and come to peace. It doesn't have to be perfect, but like, you have to try to come to some type of peace and groundedness. And it's a very personal thing, but the healing process leads you to that. And that's what the cool thing is once you kind of complete a certain healing process, you become more open. It opens your heart, and then your greater good can flow to you, and you go to the next level in life. It's kind of how it works. And you know what? Sometimes we're never really done with the healing. I think life is just a continual process of this cycle of transformation and renewal, much like the butterfly. So, hey, maybe that'll help you to study the butterfly and the phases, and study the snake and how it sheds its skin, and just watch some YouTube videos on it and get inspired and realize that you're part of nature and you're part of that cycle too. And so you will get your wings and fly again. So don't worry, you got to go into the cocoon for a while, Now, advice for this time in your life. I've already given you tons of that. So much is coming out, but they're saying that they know that you're very insecure right now. They know that you just feel like you're tied down and it feels hopeless and you're really overwhelmed and you're like, how did this happen? But a huge message that's coming out right now is not to judge yourself and not to judge your path, because I feel like there's a lot of worry and fear about what other people are going to think about you, and you're really worried about how you're going to explain this to people. But once you remember and you learn about boundaries, like I was talking about earlier, it's going to be easier for you to just hold your peace and your inner strength, and to realize that you don't owe anybody an explanation about anything. You don't have to go around telling everybody what happened unless you really feel that guidance to do so, That's why I feel like if you haven't already, it might be good to talk to a therapist, because that will be a good outlet. And maybe try journaling and writing. That way you don't have to feel like you got to go around explaining to everybody what happened, Once you let go of that fear of what other people think, you can kind of let go of that judgment of yourself and kind of accept what's happened a little better and feel, so many people have been through this. The situation you're in is very unique to you, and it's, I'm not trying to discount it, but more people would understand than you think. And you can kind of feel like a failure, and I know this can bring up a lot of guilt and shame after what you've been through, but really try to recognize when those feelings of guilt and shame are coming up, and realize that, try to come to peace with that, and try to lift a little bit of that off your shoulders, and remind yourself, I made the best choice for me. I'm thankful for the path I've had and the lessons I've learned. I trust that the future is going to be different than the past, and that this is going to help me pave the way for a brighter future. And try to really use alchemy. You know, alchemy is basically. Whoop, I've got my alchemy. Wow, look at this card just came out for you. Trust. Where's my alchemy card? Alchemy is basically when it's someone who makes the best out of the worst and doesn't allow external events to govern their internal condition. Flip it around to work for you. So start thinking about taking these lemons and making it into lemonade, thinking, how can I make this work for me? I mean, there are some upsides to what you're going through right now. You can really, you have this space now to create whatever you want in your life. That's why this is the first thing that came out, this joined energy about like the visions and like the dreams you're having for your future. You know, this should really be your focus right now. But it's hard to get there because of this insecurity. This is natural. It'll pass, but hopefully that'll help you, you know, be able to recognize it. Because sometimes if we can't really like name that motion when it comes up, it starts to own us. And that's what consciousness is realizing like how you're feeling and like allowing that and like, you know, kind of trusting in what's coming up, but also realizing you don't have to be a victim to these feelings. You don't have to allow it to control your life. I'm a very emotional person, and I used to just have these thoughts and feelings that would come up all the time, and I would just be hysterical all the time because I couldn't like control it. You know what I mean? I feel like you're probably an artist like me. And so as artists, your sensitivity is part of your gifts. It helps you be able to have these visions and be able to create this magic in your life and be able to, you know, make these beautiful art pieces and connect with others. But it can also have a shadow side where the emotions, if they aren't flowing somewhere, if you're not like channeling that energy into your art and your work and your writing and stuff like that, then it can really overwhelm you. And so I feel like they're saying trust your inner guidance. You know what to do. You have these visions for your life, and like it's time for you to start creating that now. You know, go through this healing process, spend this time alone, but be open to when you feel ready, taking steps in this new direction, because there's a lot that wants to open up for you. There's a whole new life. There's a lot of energy around you, this shift. I mean, it must just be such an intense time for you. I can really feel this. But there's a lot of hope here, you know. They're saying this is time for you to trust yourself now, your inner wisdom. You know what you want to do. You know what you're being called to do at this time. I feel like there's a vision that's come up for you, and it might be kind of wild, you know. It might be something like, I want to star in a movie, or I want to write a book, or I want to move to this place, or I want to try this new class or this new program in school, or it could be something really big that you want to do. And it's never too late, and you have to trust yourself with this. The more that you delay it and the more that you continue to feed these visions with fear and insecurity, it's going to make you miserable. Like I said, I would have these dreams about singing, and every time the song on the radio, you know, would come on, I'd sing all the songs and constantly singing all day long, every day. I just driving in the car with my friends, they're always like turning the music up because I'm singing, and they're like, I can't hear the song, and like, you know, I've always been like this, and now it's like, I feel a lot less insecure now that I'm actually doing something about it. I feel a lot happier. The first couple days that I started like actually intentionally working towards this and practicing my singing, I just honestly started singing like 3 songs a day. I decided, okay, I'm gonna practice singing these 3 songs, and I'm not just gonna sing along silly, like I'm actually really gonna sit down and practice and try to sing it as good as I can, you know. As soon as I did that, I started feeling much better. So I feel like that's something that's happening with you. You might need to take some action, even though it's really hard right now. And sometimes action is just making a mood board, like going on Pinterest and making a vision board of what it is you want to do. Or maybe you can write something out, like a list of like a bucket list, you know, places you want to travel or whatever it is. Start planning and start using this gift you have of visualization to move forward. So they're just trying to encourage you to like stay busy and try to dream positive dreams for your life despite what's happened for you. It's not over for you yet. In fact, I feel like it's just beginning for you, to be honest. This is really the beginning of a whole beautiful new chapter in your life. So, your career and your natural gifts and talents. They're saying that I see true love reversed. So it's like you're so overwhelmed with what's happened, and you're also really afraid of how you're going to make it on your own. And you're like, what do I do now? You know, it's interesting. I don't think they're not giving me a lot of information on your career or your gifts, but I did get the clairvoyance in the beginning here. And so I feel like there's another message that's coming through in this placement, which is, this is the pole star. And if you've been following my channel for a while, this card, I'll pull it sometimes and I'll just start crying because it's just this beautiful card. It's basically like getting a hug from the universe. All the other cards in this deck are really serious, and like they're telling you, like this one's about like giving and receiving and opening your energy, and this one's about surrendering your will. That was for your twin. But this one is the only one in the deck that's really just like, it's not really trying to teach you anything. It's not trying to like explain any concept to you. It's just saying that the same force that holds the stars in the sky and the planets in orbit is the same force and the same light that's leading you through this dark forest. So you're deep into the wildwood now. You're deep into the forest, and it's dark, but there is a light at the end of this tunnel, and that's what they're saying. It's just to follow the light. And what is the light? The light is your heart. The light is your heart. Whenever you feel lost in life, there's always two answers. First of all, love. The answer to everything is love. If there's a situation that comes into your life and you're like, I don't know how to respond to this, the answer is always love. Move forward by loving yourself and trying to be as loving as you can to others. And then, second of all, follow your heart. You've been born with this light, and these emotions that you have are your guidance system. That's why it's important to get balanced so that you can really understand your emotions and what's coming through and your feelings, and so you can take action on that. And you've done that. You felt like this wasn't right for you in this situation, and so now you're out of it. And they're just saying that you were able to get yourself out of this situation by following your heart, and you're going to be able to find this new career path by following your heart as well. So I hope that's not too vague, but that's what's coming through, is that you're going to be taken care of. You're not going to have to worry, and things are just going to pop into your path. Like, I moved to another city in order to help with my career, and honestly, I didn't have a plan. I was just like, I'm just going to move here, and that's all I know. And so I moved, and I was nervous about how I was going to get work and how things were going to happen and how I was going to afford the city, because cities could be expensive. And it was really cool. As soon as I got there, I had all these opportunities, and like one opportunity led to the next and then led to the next, and it just really took off for me. I'm so thankful for that. So, you're going to attract to you like a magnet what's for you. What's for you is for you. Does that make sense? I really believe that there's something out there for you, and you don't have to fight or struggle for it. You just have to continue your path and follow your heart and be open to it, and it will appear. Like I said, the path will reveal itself. That's how this works. But the next step, with that said, hopefully I can give you some more information. The next step for you in your career is to really take a leap of faith. And this card has to do, once again, with sensitivity and being a bit psychic and kind of being a bit, like I said, clairvoyant, these visions you have. I feel like you're very artistic. Like you like to craft maybe, and there could be something you could make and sell online. There could be some pots you can stir. I feel like, once again, the path is going to present itself, and when it comes time to take this leap of faith, you'll know. But this is talking about swimming upstream. It's going to be a hard journey. I think you're going to have to work really hard at your healing and your health to get here. But ultimately, this is abundance. This is a card that has to talks about money and prosperity. So to get here, you're going to have to take a leap of faith. I'm going to pull a clarifier from my personal deck real quick. What is your next step for your career? Oh! Okay, so this is like the money card, okay? I'm going to read this to you. It says, "A token is now bestowed upon you. You have been patient, diligent, and wise. These are fragile times, so pamper yourself with the finer things in life. Open to receive the karmic stores of wealth coming your way." Yeah, there is wealth, money, like I said. That's what this fish is about, the salmon's about. "Let the tide wash in your belief in miracles and out your energy patterns of chaos, fear, and drama. Gift of financial reward." That is really good news. I feel like that's what you wanted to hear, and you needed to hear. So I feel like you're probably going to have to go searching for jobs. You're probably going to have to get your resume together and start getting out there. But there's going to be something out there for you, I promise. When I've drawn this card once, when my partner and I had some money issues, we actually went to the beach and we're on this walk and we were like praying for a sign, and like literally right then a sand dollar, like a beautiful intact sand dollar, came up and landed on my partner's foot, and we picked it up and we were like, it's money from the ocean, it's a sand dollar, it's a token. And we just channeled this message onto this card, and funny enough, a huge job offer came in like the next day, and everything worked out, and we've been doing fine ever since. And this abundance has been growing and growing and growing and growing. Oh my God, it's crazy. Like my life has changed almost overnight, and it's totally because ever since I got this sand dollar and started drawing this card over and over again. It's just a beautiful message. It reminds you to hold that energy of peace and really believing in your path, and believing in miracles and getting into that miracle mindset so you can manifest this abundance into your life. The chaos, the fear, and the drama, I don't think that's you. I think that was the person you just broke up with. I think they brought a lot of chaos and fear and drama into your life, and you need to get back to your truth, and that's what this time of quiet time and healing is all about for you. But I hope this is a good message. You take this as a good message that, you are going to have to take a leap of faith when it comes to your career, but there's going to be a lot of money coming to you. So trust that. These are the money cards. I have like 2 or 3 money cards out of all my decks. You got 2 of them. So, there's 2 money cards in this deck. There's 2 money cards in this deck, and there's 1 in this deck. So you pretty much got half the money cards I have out of all these cards, so it's not a coincidence. Oh, and then this is on the top of the deck. Makes me wonder that there's something coming to you in a couple days. If you've been waiting for something, or to hear some news, or like to get something in the mail, perhaps, because I just saw an image of mail. They're saying 3 days, so hope that helps. I've got a couple more cards for you. Positive energy coming into your life. So, peace. How great is that? You are going to be able to nurture yourself. There's some playful energy coming as well. Like I said, I feel a lot of peace coming your way, and so you can just take a deep breath and realize it's over. I really feel like what happened with this person you were with is they really projected a lot of their own inner darkness onto you. And so you feel like your life is so chaotic and is so like falling apart, and it's just this disaster. And you, like I said, you're carrying a lot of guilt and shame, but I don't think that that's yours. I think that after you've spent more time away from this person, you're gonna actually start getting better a lot faster than you think, and it's going to become really clear that this person just wasn't, obviously they were in your life for a reason, but ultimately they were not the best match for you for long term, and they weren't really serving your greatest good anymore. And it's going to be a lot easier to move forward without this weight on you. And the peace, You're going to feel peace like you've never felt before, and you're going to realize, like, this is my peace, this is my truth. Like, all that was their stuff. That wasn't mine. And I think that's what's happening here is you're going to get in alignment with your truth. And you're going to find yourself again and your authenticity again. And you know what? Once you find that, there's going to be no stopping you. There's going to be no stopping you. This is look out for. Look at this. You are going to be moving. And this is going to be a new path for you. So this is the home card and this is the new path card. So you are starting a new path in your journey, and you're going to be moving. So just be open to that. That is something that's going to be happening. I can't quite say how soon. Maybe in 3 days. Just kidding. I don't know. But be open to that. This card is very literal. It means you're moving or someone else is moving in. So be open to that. And advice from Spirit. How beautiful is this? They said, you're just getting started, so have patience with yourself in the process and don't give up. Ultimately, in your reading, this is really positive for what you've been through. I feel like the trust card flew out when I was trying to look for that alchemy card, and so I'm going to leave you with that. I think that, these cards also, this one flew out and hit me in the face. This one flew out of the deck too, but this one hit me in the face. They're saying your power and your strength right now is in your independence. You're just going to have to walk this path alone for a while. And also, it's very possible that the person that you were dating was a narcissist. So Google narcissistic personality disorder. That could provide some clarity onto why exactly this person was acting like that in the relationship. That this card is the card I pull for someone who's been involved with narcissists. The wolf kind of represents that, but I think it's talking more about you having to walk this path alone through this fall and winter season. You're just gonna have to stay responsible and continue, because I feel like, I don't know if there's children you're providing for, or maybe it's just yourself and your inner child, but you're gonna have to continue. But you're very close to the destination that you're seeking. It's just time to be alone. Is saying create an altar or visit a power place to connect with the divine. Some people just like to go out in nature and just take some deep breaths and say a prayer. Some people literally create altars and do that whole thing. I have an altar. Some people like to meditate. Some people just like to spend time in silence, taking deep breaths. Some people like to do yoga. The point is, find some way to connect with your inner self, or with God or your deity or the universe or whatever, the void, however you see that concept. Just find a way to connect. It'll help you remember that you're not alone and there is something greater at work here, and that there is a path. There is a path forward for you. So continue on. That's all I can say, is to continue to trust and have faith here. I'm seeing some beautiful things come out. The main thing is you have to trust in your vision. You have to trust your visions. And if you don't know what to do right now, start making mood boards and start writing about what type of ideal life you envision for yourself. This is a really great time to do that. That's what I did the last time I had a huge breakup and a lot of loss in my life and a lot of shift. It was a good time to plan out, what I wanted to do next in life and kind of where I wanted to go. And guess what? I'm in an art studio right now that I manifested. On my mood board, I pinned all these photos of having a big room that I could create in, and I could do all my paintings in and stuff. And here I am actually doing this reading in this room and in this art. I don't even know how I got here, but you just have to know that your visions help create your reality. So dream a new dream for yourself. Dream a positive dream for yourself. You're a very wise person, and you have a lot of gifts and talents, and I feel like you have a lot of gift when it comes to art. So try to take a step forward in that direction, and those doors will open for you. So I hope that this helped out. I hope that I helped bring you hope. And anyone else who's watching this, if this resonated with you, then leave a comment and let me know. And if you would like a reading as well, then check out the description. Thanks again for choosing my services. And I'm wishing you a beautiful season ahead. You're going to be okay. Your twin is definitely worth waiting for. So just continue working on yourself and fall in love with yourself. You know, you're a beautiful person. Love yourself, you know? Peace out.